People always say things like, he's a nut or he's crazy.
Oftentimes through the media has been people with mental illness, oh, they're dangerous.
They use the term crazy, they're criminally insane, they do bad things.
Some people think we can't be on our own because of a disability, like we can't take care of ourselves, or we can get married or be engaged. That's not true. We're just like you guys.
The stigma thing is huge. I really do believe it to be the biggest obstruction in getting help.
People die with mental illness because they feel no one cares. It's reality. We need to educate people in our society what mental illness really is.
When people talk about mental health or mental illness, they often don't embrace that breadth of diagnostic considerations. More often than not, they're talking about folks with schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. Most uniformly in this country, people refer to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual as the definer of a mental illness or a mental health issue. And one of the things that we're experiencing here in Vermont, in the rest of the country, is that there are a lot of cultural differences between what different groups of people define as mental health and mental illness.
One other common misconception is that mental health and emotion are things that we should be able to handle ourselves, that somehow we should be able to manage stress and trauma without assistance.
And I had a lot of issues around PTSD, bipolar, anxiety issues. A lot of unknowns were happening for me. Being as a person who was needy at one point in time, I felt that nobody cared. And there are people who really do care, but society sometimes puts pressure on folks so they don't ask for that help.
When we think about mental health challenges, when we think about suicide, it's rare to see an obit where a family has been willing to be explicit about the cause of a loved one's death. And I think that's symbolic of the distinction that we make as a culture between health issues. Someone died from a valiant struggle with cancer. You see it all the time in the obit, whatever the quote health issue is, but it's very rare to see a family member acknowledge. You more often see code.
Oftentimes, even in your own family, things are right there in your face and you don't want to see it, or you don't want to accept it. So as a result of which you kind of ignore it, or you said, okay, you're going to get over it. And we can't do that anymore. We can't have people bottling things up in, because that could explode one day, and not in a positive way. When we talk about health, we should talk about health care. And we should not differentiate between mental health and physical health, because my health care is my entire body. My head is definitely connected to the rest of me, and it plays a very important role. It does affect all of us at some point in time. I don't think we're there yet in terms of looking at it holistically. I think there's still a lot of stigma.
Some people don't have learning disabilities, some people have autism, some people have this and that. Doesn't mean we're not human. We're human.
Everybody gets depressed. When somebody dies in your family, do you get depressed about it? Yes. People with mental illness sometimes get more depressed, and they need a little extra help. And you may need a shoulder to cry on.
Everybody has times where they're up and they're down, and I think it's important for us to remember that everybody has issues, and it's important to talk about them and not hide them.